Pi pioneers, stop whatever you're doing because I recently uncovered Binance's specific listing conditions that Pi Network must fulfill. And honestly, what I learned will startle you. Look, after months of combing through technical records and insider information, I uncovered the 4 specific reasons why Binance rejected Pi despite 86% of 295,000 votes backing the listing. But here's what will blow your mind. I also identified the exact timeline when Pi might ultimately get listed, and it's not what you expect. If you're tired of false hope and want the hard truth about your Pi investment, don't you dare click away, because I'm about to divulge what Binance covertly expects from Pi Network. Make sure to follow my Telegram and Facebook accounts linked in the description for exclusive insider updates that could change everything. View that February 2025 Binance poll wasn't just a popularity contest, it was actually Binance's way of measuring Pi's community strength while discreetly reviewing if Pi fulfills their tight listing standards. Here's what truly happened behind the scenes that nobody talks about. While 86% of voters responded yes to listing Pi, Binance's technical team was simultaneously performing a thorough examination of Pi's infrastructure, and honestly, what they found was devastating. The poll results mattered nothing because Binance uncovered 4 key issues that made Pi entirely unlisted on their platform. I'm talking about issues so terrible that even if 100% of users voted yes, Binance would still refuse to add Pi. What I'm about to share will explain why your Pi coins are caught in limbo and exactly what needs to happen for that fantasy listing to become reality. Look, here's where things become very intriguing and frankly disappointing, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything because you deserve better. Pi Network announced its open mainnet launch in February 2025, boasting 10.14 million mainnet migrations and over 19 million KYC confirmed users. They termed it open, but was it really? In my honest view, this felt like marketing fluff more than actual openness. For most of Pi's history, we couldn't move our currencies to other wallets, making it hard to test true liquidity or link with other blockchains. I've been saying this for months. How can you call anything open when people can't even own their own assets? Even after they lifted this firewall, here's the horrifying fact that truly gets under my skin. All validators remain under the Pi core team's entire authority. We're talking about just 43 active supernodes and only 3 validators, compared to thousands on Bitcoin or Ethereum. This tremendous centralization makes it extremely hard for exchanges like Binance to independently check transactions, and frankly, I think this is purposeful to keep control. Guys, this next revelation will probably make you angry, and honestly it should, since I was furious when I first discovered these data. Independent investigation shows that the top 100 Pi wallets own an astounding 96.37% of all tokens. Let it sink in for a moment and ask yourself, does this sound like the democratic revolution Pi promised us? The top 10 wallets alone hold approximately 61% of everything. Even more alarming, and this is where I think Pi lost all confidence with serious investors, estimations reveal that the core team owns around 82.8 billion of the 100 billion Pi tokens through 6 wallets and linked addresses. Only roughly 7 billion coins are really circulating, with the rest 89 billion locked and handled by the team. In my perspective, this isn't decentralization, this is centralized control masquerading as a people's movement. This sort of concentration is exactly what led to disasters like the Terra Luna crash, and frankly, I wouldn't blame Binance for staying far away from this possible manipulation nightmare. Look, here's where Pi's troubles get really severe from a legal sense, and I have to be brutally honest with you because I care about this community too much to stay silent. Pi's mining mechanism is referral-driven, meaning users earn more by recruiting others, and critics are labeling this system dangerously close to a pyramid scheme. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I've seen enough crypto projects emerge and collapse to understand these warning flags, and they're flashing bright red for Pi. Blockchain journalist Colin Wu has cautioned that Pi faces major legal scrutiny in China and other nations, and frankly I think he's being too polite about it. The problem got much worse when Vietnamese authorities warned that utilizing Pi as a payment mechanism is absolutely unlawful, warning that individuals who accept Pi could face fines between 50 million to 100 million VND or perhaps prosecution. In my opinion, this is just the beginning of Pi's legal woes. These regulatory storm clouds make exchanges exceedingly cautious, especially Binance, which has already been punished by regulators in various locations, and certainly cannot afford to list coins that might draw more legal issues. Look, unlike most respectable crypto projects who approach exchanges with crystal-clear tokenomics, Pi Network has continually failed to provide full openness about its token distribution, vesting dates, or detailed roadmap. And honestly, this drives me absolutely mad. I've been in crypto long enough to know that openness isn't optional, it's the foundation of trust. In mid-2025, analysts observed that Pi was seeking a know-your-business approach from exchanges while refusing to provide comprehensive information about its own activities. The irony here is almost funny, if it wasn't so aggravating for millions of users like you. They want exchanges to jump through hoops while keeping their own books closed, and that's a red flag. Credible projects are transparent about tokenomics, code, and roadmaps, but Pi's lack of openness is already a deal-breaker for Binance, which prioritizes compliance and investor protection. The long delay in allowing coin withdrawals left Pi with almost no external liquidity, a major mistake that crippled its chances of early exchange acceptance. Even with claims of thousands of apps and a $100 million Pi Ventures fund, little real economic activity exists outside the Pi bubble, making it feel like a closed system. Binance looks for thriving, decentralized ecosystems with independent developers and strong user demand, and right now Pi falls short, leaving any listing attempt vulnerable to manipulation risks and liquidity crises. That's why the August 15, 2025 listing rumors are baseless. Fact-checkers confirm no official date, and the hype stems from misread wallet integrations. Realistically, industry watchers say Binance might only consider Pi around 2026 or 2027, and even that depends on whether the project decentralizes validators, opens its source code, publishes transparent tokenomics, and demonstrates adoption beyond its own ecosystem. The story of Pi Network has always been a battle between hype and real substance. It drew millions with a simple tap-your-phone pitch, especially in places like Nigeria, Indonesia, and Vietnam, but when held up against the hard requirements of transparency, decentralization, security, and compliance, it fell short. Still, I believe the mission of accessible crypto for the unbanked is worth fighting for. And while Binance isn't listing Pi yet, the bigger question is whether Pi can transform itself enough to meet those standards and finally earn that spot. The ball is fully in Pi's court now, and honestly, I'm cheering for them to prove all the detractors wrong, including some of my own concerns. If this video opened your eyes to what's actually happening behind the scenes with Pi Network, and you appreciate my honest take even when it's hard to hear, slam that like button to help other pioneers find this critical information. Drop a comment below telling me what you think Pi needs to do to finally acquire that Binance listing, and please share your own experiences and disappointments. I read every single remark. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell because I guarantee I'll be covering every important Pi Network development as it happens. The good, the terrible, and the ugly. Remember to check out my Telegram and Facebook links in the description for exclusive updates and insider analysis you won't find anywhere else. Together we'll navigate this Pi path with the truth, not false hopes, since you deserve nothing less than complete honesty about your investments and goals.